Welcome to Conquer with Chris, Kingdom Podcast for Business. I have my guest, Kim Ward, on today. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Not only are you a mother, Kingdom business owner, and a Pinterest specialist, which we'll get into later, tell the people a little bit about yourself, how you got into what you're doing.
Crazy story, actually. I'll make this one quick. So I came from the corporate background. I was in the medical field. And in 2014, I was 8 months pregnant with my third and my final child. And just 3 days after Christmas, I had lost my mom. She took her own life. And my husband, who was a lieutenant with fire rescue at that point, something snapped inside of me. And I remember looking at him in that moment and really, truly understanding that time is our most precious commodity. And I said to him, once this baby is born, I'm not going back to work. I'm not going to pay someone else to raise my child. And I didn't. I set a goal that she would be home with us. And Chris, she's going to be 9 years old next month. And she has never, ever had a babysitter. She's never been with daycare. And we really achieved that goal. So I'm super proud of that.
Not only that, but she's a business partner.
She is. I was just telling you, I taught her how to do Pinterest. And she's got her little desk in my office. She's got her little tablet, and she helps me pin quite effectively, I might add.
So if you don't think you can do Pinterest, a child can do Pinterest. So we'll get into that later. But Kim is I've had the pleasure of having her as a coach. So if you're looking for help with Pinterest, she'd be the model person for that.
Thank you.
So Kim, you said one of your favorite scriptures as far as business mentality is putting on the whole armor of God, Ephesians 6:11, that you may be able to stand firm against the tactics of the devil.
Yes.
And let me tell you, another scripture verse is, small foxes spoil the vine. The devil's in the details. That's where we get that from.
Mm.
The small foxes, because they can't get up high where the vine goes up. So the devil's in the details. So what are some of the characteristics that you think are important for entrepreneurs to become successful?
Gosh, what a great question. Number one, hands down, is faith. I mean it wholeheartedly. There are times where sometimes the business feels like you're in a drought, it's a rough season, and moments like that, we tend to clench and want to take control of the wheel. And I can tell you, Chris, every single time I'm in that situation and I breathe, I pray, I get back in the word, it always, always, always works out with something I never saw coming. So faith is just so important as an entrepreneur. Number two, I would say organization. I think it's incredibly important that when we try to build our kingdom business, when we have our family, when we have things outside of the business, it feels hard to balance the time. And everyone's out there trying to create this balance. And I will tell you, the moment you learn how to organize what needs to get done and do it effectively, you don't have to work as much or as hard as you're doing. So I've learned how to blend my life together. So yes, I do have my phone everywhere, but my family, my husband, my church time, I still have moments where my phone is off and I'm not plugged in. So I think that's very, very important. And then number three, I would say patience, but it goes kind of tied back to number one. Patience is I don't want to be virtue, right? So cliche. But again, that's us taking control and trying to step outside of his design for us. And we can't do that. That's when your whole train will derail. Trust me.
Well, this funny is I heard a preacher say recently is that the reason why things are delayed is for your formation. Because if you got, for example, if you gave your daughter the keys to your car right now, she'd probably crash it.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing is, God doesn't allow us to have some things because we'd crash our lives
Mhm.
and we destroy our lives. I want to go back is you said faith, and one of my favorite scriptures is the just shall live by faith. And that means the righteous, the person who is trying to do right, right? So it as a business owner, we've all learned that the best way to run a business is to serve others. And that's being righteous, that's being correct thinking, it's being just. And you can't help other people any more than you can't want it for them more than they want it for themselves. That's one of the things is like sometimes the business owner, you want to help someone and the other person can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's funny because faith produces patience.
It's true.
Because at the end of the day, is you can't develop any faster.
That's right. Or make something happen, right? You can't force it.
You're right. If you force something, it's not going to be genuine.
Nope.
And that's one of the things I learned is like I did 54 episodes of this podcast, and something was not quite on point. And it was the fact I wasn't doing the other side of my life, the kingdom-based side. I'm a pastor, I'm a teacher, so of the word, and I was trying to share success principles. And what happens is there's a part of you missing, and so you're only giving half yourself to your audience. And so now that we're on track, we can give our full selves to the audience. So
Man.
faith, organization. You see, watch this. It takes faith to be organized because see, if you don't have your stuff together, then at the end of the day is it's going to be everywhere, and you're not going to be talking. You know, we have the saying in sales: if you're for everybody, you're for nobody. And so when you're not organized, you're not all together, and you're not giving them the full version of yourself. And that's one of the struggles we have as faith-based entrepreneurs. And patience produces a good thing, right? It produces something that gives you great value. And so you can't shortcut 99. I'm thinking about Thomas Edison now, who took and made 10,000 light bulbs, only one of them worked. He would argue that he found out 9,999 of them didn't work, which helped him create the one that did. So those are all great characteristics.
Thank you.
Now, how do you apply that? How do you apply it in your own business? We were talking before that you had a business and you lost money because one of your streams of income just totally shut down. So how do you deal with that? That's a good question. How do you deal with that when either you don't have income and you need it, but you got to be patient?
Oh,
or
it's the hardest time.
Or you have income and all of a sudden it's gone.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I feel them both right here in my soul.
So how do you deal with that? Because we've been doing these podcasts and we have not necessarily seen the income we were expecting, but yet we keep doing the podcast because we're still refining our blade, right? We're being patient because we don't think we've quite hit the mark yet. So you've had both sides. So I want to hear that.
I love this question so much. I will tell you, when I was like ready to drop to my knees out of desperation because I had a very, very large amount of money just gone overnight. The company, one of the companies that I was kind of moonlighting for, decided to just go overnight. And I sat here going, I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I will tell you what, there's an exercise called Two Chairs. It's a great book by Bob Boudin. Two chairs is when you're in one chair and your Lord is in the chair in front of you. And you are looking at this chair and you are slowing down to have a conversation with your creator. And so I started doing this practice each morning, and I'll take pen and paper, and it doesn't replace prayer. However, it's just a conversation that allows you to slow down. And Chris, you'd be amazed at how quickly the answers come to you when you slow down and listen. And so I remember writing on paper one time as I'm speaking with Jesus, right? He's here, he's in the chair, he's listening, he's attentive, but I'm writing it down so that my brain can kind of follow along. And my question was like, what am I going to do? And very clearly, very thunderously, very loudly, but also very softly, he responded to me and said, you have not invited me into your business. Oh, you know how bad that stung? I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, I got it. And from that moment, I will never leave him out of my business and remember why I'm doing this, who I'm doing this for. Chris, I kid you not. Since then, it has been blessing after blessing after blessing that we never saw coming. Money has allowed us to tithe more. We have traveled the world. My husband and I brought our daughter to London. We are seeing experiences. We're living a whole different life because I'm really stepped into alignment with having a true kingdom business. But it's like our car needs an alignment sometimes. So does our faith. So does our attitude. And so sitting down with a 2 chairs exercise each morning will realign you and slow you down.
Well, let me help the people who might be joining us and say, is there a scripture to help with that? Malachi 3:16 is one of my favorite scriptures. Of course, most of them are my favorite. Then those who feared the Lord spoke to one another, and the Lord listened and heard them. So a book of remembrance was written before him for those who feared the Lord and who meditate on his name. And I thought that was interesting because most people say, well, that's not really prayer. No, that was prayer because they feared God. And so when you fear God, you're in awe of God. You share things. Even this podcast we're doing, God may be writing this down in heaven. This is funny. It's like we don't consider it prayer, but because we fear God, we have love for the Lord, and we want to help people, what we have to say is important even to God. And so the thing is like, he's taking these opportunities to refine us. He's taking these opportunities to make us better. He's taking these opportunities to just remind us that he deserves the throne, right? We sometimes at church, I will, if I'm visiting a church, I'll be like, can we get one of those big, nice chairs up at the front, put it in the place of the pulpit and just sit it there? Because this is a gathering for one. We're here for one person and one person only, and that's Jesus.
I love that.
And sometimes we forget that in all the, excuse what I'm getting ready to say, business of church.
Yes.
There's a business side to the church, and that's just how it is. They've got to take care of bills just like we as people have to take care of bills. But at the end of the day is even our personal lives is a worship unto God. Our business lives is a worship unto God. So I think that's a great idea, the 2 chairs, putting 2 chairs down and saying, God, how, and having a conversation with God, because at the end of the day, that's really truly prayer is, God, what am I doing? How can I get better at this? How can I make this better for others? Because making good for me doesn't really much matter, because if I'm a business owner, I make this good for them so they see the value and buy into what I'm selling.
And when you're building a kingdom business, many of us entrepreneurs, we're not fulfilled if we build it for us anyway.
That's so true, because we have a heart of a servant. At the end of the day, we're really there to serve. We do it for free if we get away with it. I mean,
Yep.
but we realize that attaching value to something makes it important to someone else. And Zig Ziglar always said, if you give enough away to everyone else, you'll get what you want.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
faith, organization, and patience. My mom always used to tell me, you need to pray for patience and you'll get tribulation. I said, that's why I never pay for patience. But now as I got older, I said, I need a lot of patience because I'm not very patient. But
Right.
so all that great characteristic, all the great scriptures and all the great things you do. Now let's talk about how you practice that inside of Pinterest. So what are a few things people can do to make up their Pinterest game?
The nice thing about Pinterest is like, I know, part of getting organized is looking at the tools and the platforms and the marketing that you have in front of you. How are you going to grow this business? And I, at one point, was lacking faith. I wasn't organized and I didn't have patience, which is why it was so easy for me to understand like the importance of these 3 characteristics. And I was constantly hustling, constantly grinding on all the platforms, really running myself thin, super stressed out. And you can see how different it is when you step into this. And that's when I learned about Pinterest marketing being a search engine for number one. So when we're on social media, sometimes, it just doesn't feel, but it also is that we're out of sight, we're out of mind. So you have to constantly create to stay relevant. Whereas on Pinterest, one pin has an average lifespan of 4 months, which is amazing because your social media content is depreciating so much faster, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes an hour. So bringing it over to Pinterest, regardless if you're a service-based provider, if you have products, physical or digital, Pinterest is the platform for you. There's currently 482 million monthly active users. So when people often say to me, oh, Pinterest is for like hair and nails and decor, I look at them and I say, let me ask you a question. Out of 482 million monthly people, what are the chances that none of them are for you? And they kind of look at me, right? Or I'll say, if I were to put you on a stage in front of 482 million people, would that help your business? And they're like, are you kidding me? Yeah. Well, that is Pinterest. And the CEO, Bill Reedy, has amazing studies done through UC Berkeley, Boston Children's Hospital. They have a digital wellness lab. And the way that they have created the Pinterest algorithm has proven through these studies to make people feel less stressed out, less alone, less isolated. And just 10 minutes a day on this platform leaves you happier because of the way that the algorithm is. Unlike social media, where you're getting engagement through enragement, if you know what I'm talking about.
Let me jump in here real quick. I just pulled this up, and this is good for the viewers. You said Pinterest has 482 active monthly users compared to, when we talk about blue oceans and red oceans, 3.05 roughly billion monthly active users on Facebook and 2.68 billion on YouTube. Those are the two big ones, right? So this is a blue ocean. You need to get on it because the getting's good.
Yes. I love
Not
that.
that I'm trying to sell you to Pinterest, because I want to keep it as a blue ocean to us.
No, I think it's really that people don't understand how their business can prosper. And Chris, if we're truly building a kingdom business, but a kingdom life, right? The business is going to bleed into the lifestyle. And because of who I am, business-wise, because of him, I'm a better wife, I'm a better mom, I'm a better parishioner at church. Like I said, I tithe so well that I got a handwritten note from my pastor's wife. Like, these are the things that ripple out. And it's because I don't have the hustle culture. I've gone over to Pinterest, and for my business, we generate so many leads and so many sales on autopilot that my husband and I just had to write our Pinterest account into our wills because that is my daughter's legacy, right? It's so crazy when you think about it. So I love breaking this down for people to see, where do you fit into this equation? It's really important that you consider Pinterest in your overall plan.
So Pinterest is number one. Pinterest is a search engine.
Correct.
Number two is
482 million monthly active users. Active is the key word there, right? And number three, the way that this algorithm works is when you create your content. This is why it's so special for each of us, right? Like I was saying to you, we could bring these amazing podcast episodes right over to Pinterest. And what happens is, because the way that the algorithm is designed, you are not putting it on a social media platform hoping that the right people find it. You are literally having your content placed in the laps or the home feed of the people who are already looking for that type of content. So you're more likely to find a warmer customer or client for your business. So it's a better return on investment for your time. And then you've got the average lifespan of just one pin is 4 months. And I've seen them go as high right now, for me, my record, 12 years. One pin for 12 years has been generating leads and sales for 12 years.
That is phenomenal. That is phenomenal. So imagine if you get, I want to help the audience. Imagine if you posted something to Facebook 12 years ago and was still getting shared and passed around. Or not so much on YouTube, because YouTube still has, they still have some people, their videos are still getting traction from 12 years ago. But imagine having a TikTok post or a reel that still, first off, it's not still there. But secondly, if it was able to still be there 12 years ago, I don't think there was any reels. But if it was still there, I mean, imagine having a MySpace that still getting traction, because it'd have to be about 12 years ago since they went out of business, or a tweet. Now, what I want to do is I want to spin this, because you probably can help me with this. Now, instead of running yourself so thin, now you can take and download that same video that you put on Pinterest, and it's a 60 to 90-second video. You can upload it to LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever the case may be, and now you're getting multiple uses out of it. And you can have it just go back to your Pinterest account, or you can have it go somewhere else. Tell the people a little bit about that. How does that work in favor for them? Because now they're not short, because not creating all this content. It's the same content, just repurposed on different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just had a client last year, so 2023. Her name is Summer. She had a $50,000 day from a short video after my training. So the video is about 45 seconds long. She booked 2 sales calls from that, and she sold 2 back-to-back $25,000 programs. It was amazing. And so I live this, I teach this. You know, I stick with a 60-second video at this time, just because that makes it, you know, cohesive across all platforms. But of course, each platform, you can have a longer amount of time. So if you stick with a 60-second video where you're coming in with a hook, right, which is either like a question or a statement to get the attention of whoever you're looking to market to, give them some really good value and have a strong call to action. With one 60-second video, you should be uploading that to Pinterest, and I can go into why. I put that on Facebook Reels, and from my reel, I share it to Facebook Stories, and then maybe into a relevant group or 2. So that, if you're counting Facebook, Reel, Pinterest, Story, a group or 2, that's already 5 different places. If you have a personal profile on Facebook and a business page, you can upload that as a reel on both of those profiles. Now we can put it on Instagram Reels, share that Instagram reel to your Instagram stories. Then you can bring that story down into your Instagram highlights. So now we're at 8. Then you've got TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts. If you have a blog, whatever platform you want to grow on, you can take the link from that platform, embed that into your blog post. So that's 12. And then if you have an email list and you want that video to get out, now you can embed that into your email. So we're talking 13 different spots with one short video.
Not to mention, if you decided, yeah, right. If you had all that transcripted for you, right?
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you can do it. Now you can drop it into Facebook as a post.
Yep.
With just a picture of the video, right? And LinkedIn as a post, and a tweet. And you can take it to Twitter too. They'll take 60-second videos on Twitter.
There you go. That's
14, 15, 16 right there. And if you following Gary Vaynerchuk, it's not the 62, but
we can keep going, Chris. I just know I'm conscientious of time. We've got a platform called Clapper. We've got Rumble. We can keep going.
There's a new one that I want to turn people on to. It's called MetaViral, and it is Web 3.0. So you get paid to use it. It's based off a cryptocurrency platform, and it's really like Facebook meets YouTube meets Instagram meets Twitter. It's like all in one, and you get paid to use it, and you get paid to refer people. All in crypto, though. They have their own coin, and that's what makes them different than the other platforms. But let me ask this. When you post that same video across multiple channels, platforms, if you will, what do you have it go back to the Pinterest post, or what do you do with it, or you have it just go to the wherever you want them to go to?
So I used myself as a case study last August, and I used one lead magnet for all of those videos. So it was the same call to action. And then I put my lead magnet link was short enough so I could put it on screen text so that if it was on a platform that didn't allow a clickable link, they could at least type it in. So 30 days of me doing just exactly what we talked about organically. I grew my email list by 992%. I grew my following organically by 403 people who chose to follow me just by my short videos. And that 992% email growth translated into 15,000 new dollars that month because I chose to send everyone to one lead magnet about Pinterest.
Wow. So I'm sure you've had other people since then that you've used in your business. Has that been held true for them as well, for the most part?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I created a free business tracker. I'm more than happy to give you that link too, if you want to use it or share it with your audience. It's just a Google sheet, a Google Excel sheet. And what you can do is just really this very simple process. And I've laid it out so it's 52 weeks. And you can go in each week and document what are your followers, what are your email subscribers on each of those platforms. And the formula is already provided. It will automatically calculate that so you can see your own growth week after week. Really, really cool. So I have all of my clients do that. And so lots of fun, lots of success. It's eye-opening because it's easier to run your business off of data, not emotion. And that's what we're doing here.
Yes, yes, yes. So you're a Pinterest first rule.
Yes, I do.
And you say it's just a visual search engine.
It is.
It tracks. So I guess that would marry very well to the video search engine that's YouTube.
100%. And let me just speak to that real quick. Last year, Pinterest dissolved something they had called Pinterest TV. That was their live, if you will. You had to get approved for it. You had to put yourself in the calendar, and then you could go live on Pinterest. Not everybody was approved. So they chose to do away with that because they saw how well short video was performing all over the place. So that ceased to exist. And what they said is we're going to give so much love and so much emphasis to our video creators. So now when you are uploading your videos to Pinterest, you are going to see so much faster growth because it is instant in the algorithm. Whereas when you create a static pin, people get frustrated because it can take up to 90 days for that pin to hit that peak in the algorithm. So they still have somewhat of an instant gratification mentality coming over from social media. So being that YouTube is a search engine, Pinterest is a search engine, they're both like this with Google. You use those three, you are going to dominate the search engine when it comes to your niche, your keywords, how you're talking to people. So now whether someone searches you on YouTube or Google or Pinterest, there you are. It's a kingdom buffet.
Oh, Kingdom Business Buffet. How do you want to, best way to grow?
I see that being the name of this podcast.
What?
Kingdom Business Buffet.
Yes, 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 yes. So how would you what would you like to leave the people with as we get ready to close down?
You know what I like to say, and I really mean this wholeheartedly, you know, from the moment you were put into your mother's womb, you were the exact puzzle piece that this world needed. He wouldn't have created you if that weren't the case. So you have either a product, you have a service, you have something that helps other people have their transformation. And when you choose not to show up, you are robbing them from a transformation that only you can help them have. And I know you're not okay with that. So just keep in mind, You were created in his greatness, and you cannot be a success and a secret at the same time. So there you have it.
Yes, that's a great one. I love it. Like I heard someone say recently, you are the solution to someone's problem.
Yes.
You're created to solve someone's problem. Like she said, you can't help them solve their problem if they don't know who you are. Well, folks, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. This has been another wonderful episode of Conquer with Chris. It was great to have Kim on. Kim, how can they find you?
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome. You can go to successwithkimward.com and you'll find me everywhere.
Once again, this is Chris Collier with Conquer with Chris. You all have a great day.